Hey guys, today is February 28th, 2025. So I'm looking at the first week of March for another high watch period for more plane incidents or crashes possible, because we have this. Look at this connection that we have. 66 years, 6 months, 6 days after the FAA was founded. 3,022 weeks after the Department of Transportation was founded. So a double connection, the 666 and the 322, the skull and bones number for the DOT. So, and that runs all the way to March 3rd with the DOT 322 connection. But yeah, we've had a lot of plane incidents, not only crashes, but a lot of other strange things happening. And this 666 connection already played out on 222, but I did make a post, community post. Sometimes I do that instead of making a video. But I talked about 222 being 66 years, 6 months after the FAA was founded, and to watch that day for another plane incident. And we had 2 separate incidents that day. So we had a plane make an emergency landing due to smoke in the cabin. We also had another plane being diverted to Rome due to a bomb threat, which turned out to be not a credible threat, but it happened. They actually diverted the plane. So we had 2 separate instances on 222. So I thought I'd throw this in here because it will be 174 years, 174 days after California was founded on March 2nd. Not saying I know something's going to happen or just, it's like one of those things. It's a narrowed down possibility, right? Because you're looking at San Andreas and it equals 174. So if they had some kind of planned earthquake or some kind of event on this day, it sure lines up for March 2nd in California. And it's also 9 years, 9 months, 9 days after the movie San Andreas premiered. So now I want to talk about March 5th, Lent, the beginning of Lent, and why I see it as another high watch date for a plane incident or explosion to occur. And once again, it connects to this movie, The Dark Knight. So I've been tracking plane crashes recently, and we've had more than one, I think 3 of them actually, that connected with this movie, The Dark Knight. So we had this one on December 25th. So actually 4 of them, 4 plane crashes connecting with this movie. So the first one was December 25th on Christmas, 38 fatalities. And in this scene right here in the movie The Dark Knight, they show number 86 carrying the ball while Bane is exploding the city. He's blowing up the city and the stadium. The ground's falling out as he's running away from it. But he's actually, I don't even know if he knows what's happening. He's just running for a touchdown. But regardless, they show 322 in the stands, and that also explodes as well. But the actual football player that is running this, his name is Hines Ward, and this is played in Heinz Field, where the Pittsburgh Steelers play. Well, on Christmas, they had an NFL game featuring the Chiefs and the Steelers, and this was the first time that I recall, I think they ever had a game on Christmas, and it was on Netflix. And I'm going to show you how this also connects with the movie The Dark Knight, as I explained before, if you haven't seen my other video. Well, this man right here, John Hines, who actually died in a plane crash and also a heir to the Hines family fortune, was 86 years, 8 weeks, 6 days apart from his birth. So this is Christmas Eve, but it was, on the other side of the world where this plane crash happened. It was December 25th. But he's wearing number 86, so I'm going to show you how that connects once again to another plane crash. This one on December 29th, 2024. The plane crash in South Korea. The worst plane crash in years, and since 1997. Now look at this. John Kerry, Skull and Bonesman, who goes by that number 322, is married to Teresa Hines. And she was married to John Hines, and she became a widow and married John Kerry. But look at from when Teresa Hines was born to this plane crash in December 29th. 86 years, 86 days. Once again, we have the second plane crash connecting with the number 86 and the Hines family. Now, also from the day that Heinz Field opened on August 18, 2001, to this plane crash, it was 97 Mercury years. So I've been watching Decoding with Cody talking about the Mercury years and the importance, and I started looking into it, and so that's very interesting because plane crash equals 97. And just to review, I foretold the possibility of this plane crash happening. I made a community post, I didn't make a video, but I mentioned that from the premiere, the movie Airplane, to this plane crash in South Korea, is the same amount of weeks and days from Bin Laden being born to 9/11. And what's interesting about this is on 9/11, we had Flight 175 crashing into the South Tower at 9:03 a.m. And this plane crash happened at 9:03 a.m. in South Korea. So then on January 29th, we had the first major plane crash in the U.S. since 2009, an American Airlines flight, American Eagle, right? And now look at this. From John Hines being born, it was 86 years and 14 weeks. So why did I add the 14? Because in the movie, when number 86 catches it, we have number 14 running alongside him. So just 2 months after 9/11, on November 12, 2001, there was another major plane crash in New York City with 265 fatalities, American Airlines flight. So a lot of you might not even realize this because it gets overshadowed by 9/11. But look at this. From the day that Heinz Field opened to this plane crash was 86 days. Not only that, as I said and showed you guys, it shows 322 in the stands. And John Kerry, married to Teresa Hines, well, that was 3,022 weeks and 2 days after John Kerry died. So we got the double connection, connecting to the Hines again, and John Kerry with the 322. So we've seen the pattern play out 4 times. Why not 5 times on March 5th, the beginning of Lent? Because on this day, it will be exactly 8,600 days after Heinz Field opened. And now look at, we have the 322 connection. Once again, in prime numbers, to John Kerry being born. 29,671 with the end date included. The 3,220th prime number. So we had a plane crash on Christmas, and I see one maybe happening on Lent. And this is really interesting to me because I have yet to talk about Easter, and I see a major event happening possibly on Easter, which could also be another plane crash. So, we've had a lot of things happening with holidays. On January 1st, we had the New Orleans attack, the car attack. The Chinese New Year, that was January 29th, the first day of the year, the snake. That was the plane crash in the U.S. We had the Christmas plane crash, and I'm calling for something to happen on Easter, and I'm saying we might see something on Lent as well. And we also have St. Patrick's Day. Decoding with Cody has been talking a lot about St. Patrick's Day. And I do see something interesting with that day as well. So a lot of things happening at holidays. So going back to April 26, 2023, that's the date the president of South Korea sang American Pie at a dinner with Biden. Right? American Pie, that song was all about the plane crash the day the music died. Then we see this major plane crash in South Korea. Now look at the time difference to March 5th, the beginning of Lent. It's 22 months, 7 days, which 22 divided by 7 is the number of pi, 3.14, or it's 97 weeks. And 97 equals plane crash. So one other thing that I was looking at is the Pope, him being very ill right now. And I was wondering, we had the president die, President Carter, the same day as a plane crash. And Lent has this big 322 connection to the Pope being born. So, and we also had that plane that had the bomb threat that was diverted to Rome. So I wonder if there's some kind of connection where you're going to see a plane crash the day the Pope dies. But 3-7 is also very interesting because that also has a big 322 connection to the day the Pope died. But it's also 2 years, 66 days after Pope Benedict died. So Pope Francis is the 266th Pope, and it's also 911 days after Queen Elizabeth died. So I think March 5th or March 7th could definitely be one of 2 days that we see the Pope pass away. But anyways, that's all I got for this video. We'll see what happens, and I will talk to you guys next time.